Alright, Twitch, you better be working. I'd be quite surprised if it wasn't, to be honest, but I haven't had any issues with this so far. You never know. Game audio's working. Yeah, the game audio is fine. Party audio comes through. There's a Twitch ad. Screw you, Twitch. I say that because I know all of the money does not go to the channel itself. It just goes straight to Twitch, so. Oh. Just waiting on one more. Just one more. And I don't know who that might be. Oh. This might make things easier if I work it out. Alpha Romeo missing. That's Jinbin, so Jinbin's missing. A Haas, well, the Haas well, neither of their drivers are showing up tonight, so just one reserve in, that being Jordan Arnold. Got that out eventually. So we're just waiting on Jinbin. Alright. Once he joins, ready up signal will be given and we'll get this whole thing underway. But no, a decent sized field. Got a few reserves in to plug up a few holes. But still. So it's pretty nice to see an almost full grid. After our week's break. In the Discord just for a moment, just to see what people are talking about. "19 people in. 7:30. Jinbin's in. He needs to go in his Alfa Romeo.
Cam too as well.
Yeah, Cam's reserve, so he'll be able to hop into either the Red Bull or the Haas. At least I'm pretty certain he'll be able to go in the Red Bull. He can definitely go in the Haas. Yeah, he'll be able to go in the Red Bull. There's only Karma in that, so. Alright. Ready up signal has been given. There's a timer, and when that hits 0, we'll start the intro as per normal. Time to get back underway after our little break. And what a way to get the ball rolling as well. Hello everyone and welcome to round 4 of the Elite Series here on Race Spec Esports. I'm Lane Everingham, your lead commentator for this event, and for tonight, for the first sprint round of the championship, we'll be competing at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps for the Belgian Grand Prix. Considered to be one of the most legendary racetracks of them all, Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps has an incredibly rich racing history, having hosted motorsport events as early as 1922. Over the course of the following century, the track has changed quite significantly. Today, it measures up at 7 kilometres and consists of 19 turns and 2 DRS zones that lead into the prime overtaking spots of Turn 1 and Turn 5. Eau Rouge and Raidillon is the obvious highlight area of the racetrack. The infamous section has been the home to many dramatic moments at Spa, but the drivers will need to be wary of corners such as Pouhon at turn 10, the fast right-handers of Stavelot at turns 14 and 15, and even the bus stop chicane at turns 18 and 19. With the incredibly high average speeds that are achieved here at Spa, DRS trains are going to be very prominent over the course of of both races. This means qualifying well and gaining as much track position as possible will be an important factor for achieving victory today. But before we focus on qualifying, there is a little bit of news to go through first from the previous race in the Netherlands. Now, thankfully, there were no incident reports submitted by the drivers last week. As a result, the final finishing positions remain completely unchanged. In the Drivers' Championship, it's Jack Humphries who was leading the way on 85 points. He is 19 points ahead of CZK in the Alfa Romeo. Followed behind him is Big Al on 48 points, 18 behind CZK. So there's some pretty decent sized gaps between the top three. From Big Al down to the bottom of the top 10, it's relatively close. But yeah, between the top three drivers, the gaps are quite big, and Humphries is the clear leader with that 19-point margin. In the Teams Championship, it's a bit tighter. Mercedes-AMG are leading the way on 86 points, followed by McLaren on 85. Just 1 point separating the top two in the Teams Championship. Alfa Romeo are next on 69 points, followed by Williams on 55, then Alpine on 42. Every team has scored points so far in the Teams Championship, except for Haas. They're the only ones who have not done so yet. But that's pretty much all the news out of the way. We can now focus on this here qualifying session. I can introduce my co-commentator, who is, as always, KD1997. KD, it's a mighty race track, Spa-Francorchamps. What are your general thoughts about this iconic 7-kilometer racetrack?
Well, it is iconic for sure, Spa-Francorchamps. Of course, the longest racetrack of any of the tracks we go to on the modern calendar. But, yeah, I personally love it. It's nice, it's technical, and it's also quite fast as well. But, yeah, of course, drivers will have to be very mindful of particular areas, such as most of the middle sector. Pool 1 is definitely, I feel, is the most significant area to be mindful of. Do not hit the inside curve, your car will spin. Of course, also there's curves around here that can also throw your car off. The calm, the Fania chicane. Yeah, quite a bit of areas that you need to be careful of, but it's something you don't want to keep your foot don't have your foot run on for sure.
Absolutely, this track bites and bites hard. If you make a mistake in any session, let alone a race, in any session here, this track really does bite hard. Contrast will be the first driver to attempt a flying lap. We might ride on board with him, give you a tour of this iconic 7-kilometer racetrack. Down the main straightaway towards La Source, he'll begin his flying lap. Get ready to brake for turn 1. Hard on the brakes at the 100-meter board, down to second gear, clipping the apex. As he uses all of second gear out of the first corner, he heads down the hill towards the infamous Eau Rouge Radillon complex of turns 2, 3, and then 4. Absolutely flat out in these dry conditions as we head onto the Kemmel Straight and exit turn 5. Sorry. Head up towards turn 5. Get hard on the brakes here for Lacombe, down to 4th gear. Get back on the power, modulate the throttle well. We get the downhill section out of turn 7 towards this hairpin of turn 8, bringing it down to 3rd gear, short shifting up to 4th. Towards 9, 5th gear, back down to 4th gear for turn 9. Back up to 5th as we head down the hill towards Pouon, turns 10 and 11 on the racetrack. 7th gear, just a light lift. Didn't bother to shift down, just keeping it in 7th. That Haas gets well out of the way. Through this little S section of turns 12 and 13, we head up towards Stavelot. Turns 14 and 15 on the racetrack, and this will complete the middle sector. Out of turn 15, this right-hander. It's now a flat-out section from here all the way up to the bus stop chicane. Around this little left-hand kink, that is turn 16. Then Blanchimont, turn 17. In the dry, it's a fairly innocuous corner. In the wet, slightly less so. Down to second gear for turn 18. Keeping it in second around the final corner. We'll head up towards the line with DRS open. The benchmark for everyone to beat, a 1 minute 41.913. It'll be fascinating to see, KD, what times we do see from all the other drivers for this qualifying session.
Yeah, for sure. Considering the fact that you mentioned it as well, it is sprint conditions. something to note if you're new to this. Basically, if it's sprint formats, it basically simulates one practice session and a qualifying session. So there isn't really much track rubber to be laid out. So that's something the drivers will have to be mindful as T-Mac goes to pull with a 41.7. But yeah, that's something the drivers will have to keep in mind as well. The rubber isn't quite there just yet, as they'll go along into qualifying. We'll see times get quicker and quicker towards the end of the session.
Absolutely. Track evolution is going to play a huge part in this, so timing is going to be key. Trying to make sure you get your final lap in as late as possible when the track is at its best. Championship leader Jack Humphries is heading towards the Lacombe chicane. What kind of speed will we see here from the Mercedes driver? Top speed of 317 kilometers an hour into turn 5 as ACW jumps to the top, overtaking T-Mac, doing a 141.724. 3 drivers in the 7s thus far. A few yellow flags around. It's just slow drivers making their way around the racetrack, trying to not impede those who are on flying laps. As Humphries heads towards Poo on turns 10 and 11. Amount of speed you can carry through here is absolutely fantastic. As you mentioned, KD, you don't want to touch that inside curve. I've done it on a few occasions. The car doesn't react nicely when you do.
Not at all, pretty much. It's a quite tall curve. Just got to be very careful of it.
Hopefully at some point Codemasters address it. It's quite annoying, if I'm being totally honest. You watch cars absolutely fly through there in real life. In this F1 game, you do have to be very, very careful. Now, Mr. Humphries here has got 2 corners to go, turns 18 and 19 on the racetrack. He used all of his battery deploy. Okay, I didn't know that could happen here at Spa. Shows you how little running I've done in this F1 game. Up towards the line for Jack, it's going to be a 42.6. Not quite the competitive time I was expecting from him, KD, considering he's on the soft.
Yeah. I wonder if he maybe just might have had a stick up on his lap and then just used up all the battery that he used from the previous to the next. I don't know. That is a new one that's a new one for me as well for a track like Spa.
Yeah, because you tend to see it at a track like Portugal, for example. You see that happen towards the end of a lap. Zandvoort, yeah, another one. Absolutely. Now, Matt Plevy has invalidated his run. Apollo Pepsi on a flying lap heading towards turns 12 and 13. I actually quite like this section of racetrack. Do have to be a bit careful with the curbs, a bit like Pouon. If you touch them, the car doesn't really like it. Sometimes you can get away with it, and ideally you have to try and use the curbs, but sometimes the game gets all antsy about it, and you can suddenly lose the back end. So you do have to be a bit careful through there. Up towards Blanchimont, yeah, it's a fairly insignificant corner in the dry. In the wet, though, Blanchimont is quite a nerve-wracking corner.
Absolutely. I feel like Cop's Corner in a sense. It's flat out there, but obviously here it's the same story. But yeah, not in the dry or not in the wet. It's different.
Absolutely. Another one for me is turn 10 at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. That's even more innocuous. It's absolutely flat out, no problem at all. But as soon as it goes to intermediate conditions, oh boy, turn 10 turns into a proper corner. Oh, that's tight between CZK and I believe that was Jack Humphries, because ACW is in pit lane. So that was very, very tight. But I don't think it impeded him all too greatly, hopefully. Only a few corners left for the Malaysian driver. Carrying a lot of speed, 320 kilometers an hour. That's a lot of top-end speed. As we head out of the bus stop chicane and towards the line, CZK will jump up to 7th position with a 1 minute 41.915.
I mean, that makes sense to have a car with top-end speed, considering that there are a few areas of long straights, particularly with also Camel Straight, that you could also help light up a move there, and yeah, of course in the back area of the racetrack too. So yeah, like you could either have a setup for that, or you can have a setup for basically, you know, just basically that would fit the middle sector. But I feel like with these cars, you probably want to have a car that has good top-end speed. At least for me, that is.
342 kilometers an hour indicated with Potsy's Williams, as he loses the back end and somehow saves it. Holy moly, he was sideways there. And somehow he was able to keep that thing straight. But he's got some serious top-end speed. 342 kilometers an hour into Lake Holm. Incredibly fast.
Very fast indeed. Yeah, so he's carrying a low wing, that's definitely for sure. That's quite evident.
Yeah, the lack of grip was very evident, particularly at the exit of turn 7. He whiz, he had that thing all screwed up, and somehow he was able to straighten the damn thing, and he's still on a pretty competitive lap, I'd say. Hasn't put a foot wrong after turn 7. He's looked pretty tidy, he's looked fast. 2 corners left for the Williams driver, turns 18 and 19 that form the bus stop chicane. Maybe a slight overshoot at 18, got enough rotation though at 19. Get around that corner pretty quickly, crosses the line and jumps up to provisional pole with a 141.330.
Nearly 4/10 clear of ACW, that's quick.
It's a big gap, it's a big old gap, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Big Al has already used a fair chunk of his battery here. It seems that he might have invalidated a previous lap. So, but with the amount of time left on the clock, I think he's going to make his way back into the pits. I wouldn't be tempting fate and doing, completing this flying lap and then doing an in-lap. Going to be wasting a solid 3 minutes. 3 and a bit minutes. But the amount of time left on the clock, yeah. Be a very touch-and-go situation at the end of qualifying for him. Ryan Bell coming towards the end of a flying lap attempt. I'll tell you what, we got a few drivers yet to set a lap time. I mean, only got 6 minutes left in qualifying. Up towards the line for Bell. 40? Yes, it is. 40.6.
Yeah, 40.6. Oh my god. Well, I kind of knew it was going to be around there, considering his sector times, but jeez. I didn't think it would be that high, if I'm totally honest.
40.6. That is a freaking quick lap for Ryan Bell.
That's 7 tenths clear of Patsu. 7 tenths. That's fast.
We got some real big gaps here in this qualifying session, KD. I'm not going to lie.
You know what's funny though, is that anytime we've commentated or raced around this place, it doesn't have a big gap in some aspect, has it? We've seen qualifying in some aspects around this place. Even for a long track like this, Spa, it tends to get quite close in some occasions. Well, at least for me it has.
Usually tracks with high speed, like a high average speed, creates tight qualifying sessions, particularly on equal performance settings. Because there's only so fast you can make a race car. So, naturally qualifying's quite close. But to see a gap of near 7 tenths as ACW peels back into pit lane. So, he'll go back into his garage, put on another set, then make his way back out.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Up by 2 tenths. Anyway, sorry.
He, naturally you tend to see qualify. Like, from Spicer all the way down to... what's half a second? Down to Stevenson. That's about half a second. You know, and that's a solid 10 positions. But then you got Potsy and Bell, who are well clear for Spa standards. So, yeah, it's been a bit of an interesting session. I'm curious to see if there are any more drivers who'll crack into the 40s, or is that just a mega lap from Ryan Bell?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Jack Humphreys would be up there. But yeah, 42.6, I know that's not competitive time by his standards. We know how quick he can be. I wouldn't be surprised if he does end up there, but... could he beat Bell? I don't know. That lap was quite a mighty lap.
Roscoe goes back in with 3 minutes left.
Interesting.
So what, he start from the back, I guess? Because it's going to be tight to get back out again.
Yeah, it's not a very short outlap and in-lap.
No. I mean, flying laps are 1:40. You're doing 100 seconds in a flying lap. It's a long time.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, him, Plebs, and Big Al have yet to do laps. I'm guessing they're saving their tires till for the sprints,
But
obviously for the main race too.
even so, you need to be proactive in qualifying around a racetrack like Spa, as I mentioned before. DRS trains are going to be hugely prominent in this race. It's difficult enough to pass here. You've got realistically one shot at an overtaking spot, and that's here at Lake Holm that Cam is going through right now. Yes, you can try and pass into La Source, but good luck, honestly. The straight's too short, and it's difficult enough to get a really big run out of the bus stop to try and have a go into turn one. So you need to maximise qualifying. Karma's been given a penalty.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Here we go again.
Blocky. So, what is that? That's from Big Al coming out of the pits.
Yes, I believe so. Or at least one of the McLarens.
No, other McLaren. Big Mac. Or T-Mac, sorry.
So...
Big Mac. There you go. Big Mac.
It's, anyway. Yeah, that's happened again. And if it happens to enough people, they'll probably red flag the session. Oh... Aston Martin getting out of the way there. Was that Matt? No, it wasn't. It was Eye Contrast, currently P5.
That's why I try to go away from everybody as quickly as possible as well, so I don't have to deal with that sort of stuff.
It's amazing. It's always down to the user to fix all the game's problems instead of gaming developers these days. Cam jumps to 13th position with a 42.222. Very marvellous, that is. Couldn't help myself, KD.
I know you can't. I know you're a big cricket fan and well established into the cricket sport.
Potsy begins what will be his final flying lap attempt. Spice is making his way out of Stavilo. Bell doing the same. So a lot of drivers. Look at that queue making its way through the final sector. That is actually ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right.
Can't wait for more grid penalties to come if it does happen.
I wouldn't be surprised, KD, if I'm being honest. I would not be surprised at all.
Nah, nobody would. Really,
up to the first timing intermediate for Potsy. Clock says he's up by half a tenth as he goes through turn 5, then turn 6, and around the right of turn 7. Slight throttle modulation, much tidier at the exit of turn 7, so he's bound to find a little bit of time through there. Where's Humphreys? Humphreys is just behind, and he's up by 2.5 tenths. He needs to find a whole chunk of time compared to his previous PB. We'll see what he can do here through Pouon. Flat through Pouon. How about that? That's how much downforce he's carrying on that Merc. Flat out the whole way round. CZK jumps up to P2 with a 41.1. What about Popsy to the middle sector split? Up by 3.5 tenths of a second. That's enough to get into the 40s. Not enough to challenge Bell, though, who's making his way out of turn 7. Humphreys heading up towards Blanchimont. Absolutely flat out. Heading up the hill towards the bus stop chicane. Potsy, only a couple of corners left. The infamous bus stop that ends this lap. Up towards the line now. Stevenson to P9. Potsy to P2. He just misses out by a little over a tenth and a half. Humphreys, 13th quickest. 41.9 for the championship leader. Ryan Bell is up by 42 thousandths. Big Al jumps to 3rd with a 40.8.
And Potsy with a 40.7 as well.
Now Baggs up to 5th position with a 41.3. Decent qualifying from him. He's demoted down to place by ACW in the Mercedes. And around the final corner for Ryan Bell to improve on his PB. He'll set a 40.495, improved by a tenth of a second, to take provisional pole here at Spa.
Jeez.
And it is indeed pole.
Quickest. 16th for Jack Humphreys. That's something you do not expect from him.
The only thing I'm thinking of right now, KD, I haven't received a message. It might be wet.
Oh, really?
I have not received any message about it, but I reckon there's a chance for wet weather. Because Humphreys is quicker than this. for sure.
Oh,
So
yeah,
maybe he has a
100%.
high downforce setup for the wet weather conditions, maybe. If there is. If not, then it's a blown qualifying. So, session done, and it's Ryan Bell on pole position. Potsy will line up alongside him in P2. Big Al P3, followed by CZK. ACW rounds out the top 5. Then you have Bags Liddell, Matt Plevy, P7, followed by T-Mac, I Contrast. And then Jinbin rounds out the top 10. Then we have Apollo Pepsi, Sebastian Spicer, F1 Ferrari Pro. Then we have Stevenson, Arnold, Humphreys, Cam, Roscoe Arm, and Karma starting from the back. Yeah, and he has that 5 grid place penalty. Astonishingly, he was the only driver who got one. So, qualified at the back, even with the grid penalty, it won't change his starting position. So, they are fast, ACW, that's for sure. Yeah. They are very fast.
Yes, they are very fast people. Anyway, actually, Jordan said in the chat that there is going to be a wet main race. So you are pretty much on point on that too.
That's a big sacrifice, if I'm being completely honest. Because I feel like these guys are good enough to make a dry setup work in the wet. I mean, you're sacrificing a lot of track position here in the sprint for that main race. You got to have a lot of faith in that setup that it will claw you away up through the field. You know, you have to have a lot of faith in that setup that it will do that. It's obviously not going to do that here in the sprint. The best thing you can hope for is to stay out of trouble and finish as high as possible. Likely due to people crashing into one another. I mean, it's a sprint. You know, we see a lot of drama in these races, so...
Oh, yeah.
Particularly here at Spa.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's plus, I mean, you're trying to go for position and everything as best you can, even for the main race. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do see drama like you mentioned.
Here we go then, folks. 19 cars on the grid. We have 5 red lights. And the sprint race at Spa is underway. Nice start from Bell, nice start from Potsy as we head into La Source for the first time. They're on the medium compound tyres as well as Big Al tries to fight Potsy here. Down the hill towards Eau Rouge for the first time. The Williams wins the battle though. Stays in front and in second position. Up the hill now, round turn 3, round Radillon, and onto the Camel Straight. They're all line astern. Potsy's having a go here, heading up towards the Lacombe chicane. Trying to go round the outside, he's got the straight line speed. Big Al wants to get involved, it's 3 wide almost into turn 5. They get it sorted though. Potsy now leads, Bell second, some shuffling in the midfield as we exit turn 7, down the hill towards turn 8. McLaren looking down the inside here, it's T-Mac on Bags Liddell, down the inside, a tidy move that is, and he gets it done. He's into 6th position. But KD, quite a tidy start. Found the field too soon! Apollo's in the wall!
And he's out. He's out. Safety car deployed. Oh, you spoke way too soon on that lane. Way too soon.
Oops.
Oh, dear.
Well, that can happen. Especially in a sprint.
Yep, field gets neutralized now.
Tell you what, if I was a guy towards the back, I'd chuck on soft tyres.
Yeah, just send it and go for it.
Send it, go for it, see what happens.
Fair enough. Yeah, especially with him being, well, presumably he'll be 19th when we get to the main race. Actually, no way. He can't be on the softs anyway. It's going to be wet. Remember that. Main race is wet.
So you might as well use
the
soft tyres here now, so... We'll see what the leaders do. None of them coming in. Obviously, you want the track position. Anyone want to have a go? Anyone?
Nah.
Come on. It's right there, folks. The pit lane's right there. Come on. Yeah, that's what I want to see. Cummins in. Yeah.
He's gonna say, screw it, I'm going to the softs.
I want fresh soft tyres. I want to send it. I like it. Nice seeing a 3 on the Red Bull as well. Very nice. Not that I'm biased or anything. Anyway.
Okay, Ricardo fan.
Now, in terms of starters, the best of which is Stevenson, up 3 positions from 14th to 11th. Couple of drivers up too, like Humphreys, Roscoe. T-Mac made a nice move on Liddell at turn 8, so he's up into 6th position. And of course we saw what happened with Potsy and Bell at the beginning of the race. They were properly bunched up going into the Lacombe chicane. It was near enough 3 wide between, I think it was Bell, Al and CZK going into Lacombe, and somehow they got it all sorted amongst themselves. So, yeah, that was quite a fun start. But yeah, Polo Pepsi into the wall. I want to say it was Spicer involved. I can't quite remember. It was for 10th or 11th or 12th position, something like that. Might have been Stevens. It was either Stevenson or Spicer, I think it was, involved in that with the Polo Pepsi.
Yeah, it's a no name, yeah.
But really not much you can do when you make that kind of contact. You're really in the game's hands at that point. Another lap behind the safety car.
Yep, long one as well.
Long laps.
Yeah,
see, in an F1 car,
long.
this track doesn't feel like it's 7 kilometers long. It feels 7 kilometers long, though, when you got a safety car leading the field. It's a long lap.
Or if you're just racing a GT car, then that's a whole different story, but never mind that.
Yeah, that's solid 2 minute 20 laps compared to 1 minute 40. It's a considerable difference. Any other takers? Towards the back, mayhaps?
Potsy's getting interested in the back of that safety car, though.
He just likes the look of it.
Yeah, I mean, also...
there we go.
Who's going in?
Roscoe and Cam.
And another Red Bull goes in. Hello there.
Yeah.
So we got 2 Red Bulls that pitted, and yeah, a Ferrari now.
This is all part of the great Ferrari master plan. Onto the soft tyres.
I ordered him to go into the pits there. I activated the pit button for him. Activated our great Ferrari master plan.
That's it.
I can do that since I can do that since I am a Ferrari driver after all.
That's it.
So.
You give him the red tyre because red is the fastest.
At least I haven't been arguing in the kitchen about pasta.
I guess not. Oh
well, at least not.
Mechanics
well, not yet. Yeah. Still trying to figure out if you have to put salt into the boiling water before you put in the pasta.
You know, typical Ferrari behaviour.
Yeah.
Potsy exploring.
Hey, they got past that safety car.
Exploring some unique racing lines there.
Yeah. Just telling you, just please get a move on, I guess.
Yeah, safety car. It ain't the quickest thing in the world. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's a road car. It doesn't have really the tires of a race car, does it? And yeah, it doesn't handle like a car, those kind of cars either.
I absolutely agree. It's probably one of the easiest ways to piss off an Italian. Pineapple on pizza.
I love pineapple on pizza.
You wouldn't be able to make your way out of Italy if you did that. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Safety car in this lap. Alright. Small talk is over. We're time to get back down to business. Topsy will get to control the field here. Might bring up the telemetry just briefly. Take it nice and easy. There's Bell saying, hello, mate. You took my lead. I'd like it back, thank you. We'll see if Potsy's willing to give it back, or is he going to try and take off into the distance? Let's find out. Heading up towards Longchamp. There it is there. Still waiting. Being nice and patient. There we go. Into Zabostok we go. Third gear through both corners. And back onto the main straightaway. We're back under green flag conditions here at Spa. A little while to go. 5 laps to get through. Through La Source, turn 1. Down the hill towards Eau Rouge and Radion. Switching on the battery there, Ryan Bell. As Spice and Ferrari Pro battle for 12th place. Eau Rouge up the hill, round turn 3. Then Radion, turn 4. Onto the Camel. Tell you what, Al's got a run going. He's got plenty of slipstream as well. Not close enough, though, to challenge the Alpine into turn 5. Bell closes in on the Williams that is leading. Not by enough, though, to try and attack the midfield. They're going hard at it at the moment from the looks of things. Plenty of changes of position. They get it all sorted there or thereabouts. Humphries with a run. Down the inside. Hello. Ferrari Pro left the door open there. Saw the charging Humphries dive down the inside. Gave him enough room. Now Humphries on the back of Spicer, heading round Pouon. The increased downforce, allowing him to carry extra speed. Not enough, though, to find a way past Sebastian Spicer. Popsy still out in front by 3.5 tenths.
Oh, that's a send there from Jack around the outside. Well, how about that? Right before he gets to Savalo. Fantastic move.
You don't hear that all too often, but Spicer's going to get him back thanks to the extra straight line speed. Stevenson's doing the same to Jinbin. Here comes Ferrari Pro. Look at that straight line speed. That's the difference between a wet setup and a dry one right there. Humphries having to work twice as hard to try and maintain the track position he's got. Potsy leads 0.3 of a second between him and Bell. We head down the hill towards Eau Rouge and Radion. Flat out, up the hill. Round turn 4. Here we go. Bell with the run. Slots back into the slipstream. Here comes Big Al. He wants to have a crack in this battle. As we go through turn 5, they're side by side. Bell does it round the outside. Takes the lead.
Nicely done. That was clean. Fantastic move.
Oh, and in the wall.
Oh, no.
Karma. Arnold as well.
Pro. And Ferrari Pro got involved. 5-second penalty for Ferrari Pro. For the collision, apparently.
Oh, dearie me. A huge stunt. A huge shunt. 3 cars involved, 2 of them out. One of them with a time penalty and a broken front wing. But another safety car, KD. This is turning into the sprint of all sprints.
I mean, plus we haven't even got to the point where DRS has been enabled yet.
That's right.
Yeah, that's the funny bit. We haven't got to that. We might just get going with just 2 laps to go, because that's pretty much what it's going to look like.
Absolutely. You never would have thought in an 8-lap race you'd see 2 safety cars.
Yep, but we do. We got one. Oh, 2, sorry.
And it ain't stock car racing either. So,
no, this ain't Bristol, this ain't Daytona, this ain't Talladega. This is Spa.
This Spa.
Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. But yeah, no, we haven't gotten to the point where DRS is enabled. Oh, hello, we got a couple of takers.
Yes, we do. Jinbin, Humphries in, Ferrari Pro will be in as well. He's got damage, so he has to come in.
And he'll serve the penalty that he got as well.
Yeah, yes. No, he'll just straight up retire.
Oh, they could have tried something, in fairness.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I guess he won't. Yeah, soft tires bolted to Jinbin and Humphries' cars. Oh, hello, change of position, I think, there as well. I just noticed. I think that was Roscoe and Cam that might have changed spots. Or had some sort of exchange.
Yeah, right, I didn't quite pick up on that.
I just noticed the names were just back and forth on the timing screen.
So there's the tyre situation, heading towards 2 laps to go. Got 4 drivers on the soft compound tyre, everyone else on the mediums. Yeah, an interesting situation at the moment. brewing for the end of this sprint. I wonder how hard the leaders are going to battle for this. I mean, it's 10 points on the line. There's points to be had as the leaders are lawn mowing. The entry to put on. I remember watching that for the first time. People using that extra bit of AstroTurf on the outside of that straightaway. I think I remember Jack Humphreys a long time ago using that when I first saw it. I couldn't quite believe that you could get away with it, let alone do it.
Yeah, that was in 2021. I think that happened.
Yes.
Well,
that.
Or that you couldn't do it. Yeah, because I remember Ferrari did that same thing as well back in season 6.
I don't think we need battery. Everyone should have battery from here to the end. If you somehow use it all, I'll give you a medal. You have overtake switched on through the bus stop. That's how much you use it. We could keep the position change up. Screw it. Keep that up. Alright, Bell now controlling the field. Actually, I might bring up telemetry just for this. Just to see when he goes. So the safety car making his way back into pit lane. Bell taking it nice and easy. Just waiting for his moment to take off into the distance. Still waiting. Wait for that brake to drop. Al's closing in. There we go.
Quite a good jump there from Ryan Bell.
Through the bus stop. Third gear just like Potsy. Keeping the car off the curbs as well. He makes his way onto the main straight. Here we go. 2 to go. Here at Spa. Out of La Source, turn 1, half a second is the gap between the top two. How desperate will the leaders get? Potsy will give it everything. Bell will give it everything. Al will give it everything. Try and win in the moment as we head down the Camel Straight. The slipstream helping the Williams out here. Towards turn 5, he looks. Doesn't go for it though.
Yeah, well, wasn't close enough, but he has the straight line speed. We saw that in qualifying, remember, how fast he was in a straight line. He's got that sort of advantage.
Contrast getting by Matt. Players fighting back down the inside here at turn 8. Two Aston Martins going back and forth here. Plevig hangs on round the outside at turn 9. Contrast
is coming in inside of Buon.
Oh,
they made contact, the two Aston Martins. Hello, here comes the rest of the cars behind them.
And Baha, man, Cam on the soft tyres. No, less. Oh, Stevenson almost lost it. He drops a few positions, but he's still in the race. Has Jen been round his outside? Oh, wheel to wheel.
Yep. And eventually he'll get through.
Well, Bell under pressure.
Look at that, the bus stop chicane. Oh, that's tight there. He's going to go for a switchback. Yeah, quite sideways. Oh, it parks the bus at the exit of the... Well, literally at the bus stop. I didn't mean that intentionally. I wasn't trying to be intentional there, to be quite honest. But it came to my head. Anyway, last lap.
An opportunity here for Potsy. He's going to have a huge slipstream heading up the Camel Straight. He's got the battery switched on. Oh, no, he doesn't. He's got it switched off for the moment. Now he switches it on. Bell weaves to break the slipstream. Potsy. Oh, Big Al. Hello.
Oh, Big Al. Hello.
To the inside he looks. He can't commit to the move, though. He moves into second place. Potsy gets a 3 second. Oh, dear. Too many corner cuts. He has a 3 second time penalty. That just might be the break Bell needs.
Yeah. Look at Humphreys, though. He's getting up to spots. He's battling Baja Camp. Down the inside, shoots it in there. It's turn 8. Nicely done. Off the soft tire, nonetheless.
10th place, Al overtaken by Potsy. Potsy did him round the outside. Now CZK's closing in. This is Bell's race to win now. These guys have scrapped so hard for position that Bell's been able to take off into the distance. Yellows are out. It's Stevenson around at turn 11. We head into the final sector for the final time. Potsy's going to drop a couple of places here, if not a few more, with that 3-second time penalty. Al's closing in. Can he find a way through? Can he take second on track? Can he hold on to second? CZK is closing as we head into the bus stop for the final time. Out around the outside, he pulls the thing up and has the inside line. It's going to be a drag race between those two, but it's Ryan Bell who wins. It'll be Big Al who finishes in second place, followed by CZK in third. ACW, then T-Mac round out the top 5. Potsy, P6 with that 3-second time penalty.
Yep, that's costly big time for sure. Dropping from second to the 6th, 4 positions lost. Yeah, and I don't know how big this weather race is going to be, but if it's torrential pour, he's got work to do.
Jack Humphreys given the driver of the day honours. I was about to mention he finishes 10th. He'll end up scoring a point, but he's gained a decent amount of track position in this sprint. Run through the final results. It's Bell who wins, followed by Big Al, then CZK. ACW finishes in the top 5 along with T-Mac, so a solid sprint from McLaren. Potsy, P6, what could have been if it weren't for that penalty. Liddell 7th, followed by the 2 Aston Martins of Contrast and Plevy. Humphreys rounding out the top 10. Then we have Jinbin, Cam, Spicer, Roscoe, Stevenson, our final finisher. Retirees, Ferrari Pro, Karma, Arnold, and Apollo Pepsi. So 4 retirements in an 8-lap sprint.
I'll be back in just a few seconds. I just gotta go do something.
You're on, man. Alright, race time. Now, information says it's wet. How wet? That's the key detail. How wet is it? Yes, it is, Riley. And, is that full wet or intermediate? Yeah, I kind of picked up on that, Mr. Riley. His qualifying pace put him nowhere where he normally is, so it had to be a setup-related thing. And those are blue ring tyres in the garage there. It's a bit difficult to see, but in the bottom right corner of the screen, in Cam's garage for Red Bull, those are blue ringed full wet weather tyres right there. So this might be full wet weather conditions. These kinds of conditions, that extra downforce can go a long, long way. So does fuel. It'll be interesting to see. Might bring up the telemetry a bit early just to see how many people have underfueled their cars for this race. It'll be quite interesting.
Alright, I'm back.
Welcome back. Full wet conditions from the looks of things, KD.
Well, there we go. Well, this is going to be quite interesting then, is it?
5 red lights once again. And we're underway for the main race here at Spa. Bell a bit sideways, but he's leading into turn 1. Round La Source we go. Intermediate tyres, full wet tyres. Interesting, we've got a mix, KD. I see full wets and intermediates here in the leading pack as Humphreys is already up to 8th position. He's dropped down to 9th because he's drag racing with the Aston Martins. Through Eau Rouge and Radion for the first time in these conditions. And Humphreys leaves them standing. He moves up to 8th. Potsy up to P5. Plevy passes his teammate as we head down the Camel towards Les Combes. Bell still maintains the rest's lead. The Astons are into each other. And wide goes Bags Liddell. He drops down to P8. Humphreys up to 7th. Dropping down is Spicer, losing a place to Eye Contrast as Humphreys moves up to 6th. He bumps his reserve teammate ACW as we head down towards No Name turn 9. Yellows are out.
Yellows.
And who is that?
That's Jinbin off the road. A couple other cars off the road. There. Oh, maybe another bit there. 4 yellows up behind that. Oh, that's Jordan Arnold into the barriers. Destroyed front wing as well in the process. Humphreys up to 5th. He's really pushing. Actually, not just pushing, he's flying.
I'm still a bit bewildered. We've got a mixture of tyre compounds here.
Yeah. Well, seems like whatever Humphreys is doing is working. We do suspect that he was on the wet setup, and it's clearly showing. because he is really doing very well.
Got a lot of speed right now, particularly in that middle sector. Anywhere where the circuit's nice and twisty, that Merc setup is working well. All in all, pretty solid start from the field. Stevenson trying to fight round the outside, but to no avail. Contrast to P11. Bell maintains the race lead, but for how long? There is a charging Mercedes as Humphreys moves through into third position. That wet weather setup working a treat. Karma.
Karma La Source.
Pointed back in the right direction. Down in 17th. Jinbin front wing change. Arnold's in as well. Humphreys now closing in on Big Al. Yeah, that extra track position he gained in the sprint has worked a treat for Humphreys. Getting up into the top 10, had a decent start as well, moving up to 8th place.
Oh, Al's run wide. He's run very wide, and through goes Jack Humphreys. Running very wide there, Al, at turn 7.
Small mistake. He kept it under control, but ultimately lost a position to AlphaTauri exchanging places. Yellow's out again. That Roscoe it is.
Yep, around at turn 8, I think.
Eventually gets the thing pointed back in the right direction. There we go. Oh, down the inside, eye contrast on Bags Liddell, who's a bit compromised here as Apollo Pepsi moves through into 11th position. What a start from him. Moving up 7 places. Done terrifically well.
Yeah, after crashing out on the sprint, he's doing extremely well.
The final part of the mid-sector. Yellow's T-Max out!
T-Max out!
Oh,
yep.
dearie me, 2 cars around.
Hello! Oh my goodness, more cars spin. Hello.
And that was a reset to track, if I'm not mistaken, from Stevenson then. Safety car is out.
Yeah, from the Williams, I think it was. Well, I thought there'd be a bit of a bigger crash than that, but yeah, safety car's been deployed. Al's in. And I think another car's in there as well. That's Humphreys.
Intermediates?
Probably. I mean, it looks like it's lighting up a little bit. Yep. There's the green stripes tires of the car. A few more going in as well.
But yeah, that was quite a sight to arrive to at turn 15. You just see cars stopped in the middle of the racetrack. It's like, where the hell am I meant to go in this particular situation? I think a lot of drivers reacted well enough to what was happening. I think at the core of the accident, I believe it was T-Mac and ACW at the centre of it. Oh, I think Al was sideways there. He looked sideways. Looked pretty sideways there. But, yeah, that's a shame for T-Mac after such a solid sprint. To have it end so early in the main race, it's a shame. But it just shows you, in these conditions, this track turns into a completely different nightmare.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
See, in the dry, in the clear conditions, Spa can seem pretty timid, but when it gets wet, or foggy, or when night descends, this track, becomes scary real quick. Real quick.
Oh yeah, it becomes a whole different animal. Yeah, it's not easy, this place. Not easy at all. And of course, it's not surprising we get these sort of conditions, obviously.
Yeah, that's right. Quite famous for having these kinds of conditions. But yeah, looking at the order right now, Apollo Pepsi starting on those intermediate tyres, did not pit. He's now up to 3rd. I bet he wasn't thinking that after the sprint.
Probably not. 15 places he's gained after all of that, too. Still quite remarkable.
And that's genuine. I mean, he's on the same tyre as everyone else now. He's only done a few laps on them, so... Only driver on the wets, I believe, was Ferrari Pro down in 11th. I'll double check.
Yeah, he is. I can confirm that. I don't think that's the correct tire for Rally Pro. I would probably go back to the. I would go to the inches if I were you.
Yeah, I'd recommend it as well. No one with time penalties just yet either. We'll have a look here. Ferrari Pro should be coming in. I'd bite the bullet now. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, there you go. He's listening to us. Careful of the pit lane. It's not an easy pit lane.
Yeah, no, this is one of the worst pit lane entries of any racetrack ever, in my honest opinion. I hate Spa's pit lane entry. It's easily the worst part of the circuit. By a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few others that are crap. I mean, Singapore comes to mind. What's another one that's quite awful?
Well, in terms of entries...
Entries, yeah.
Old Austria was awful.
Old Austria, yeah, that was terrible.
Because...
where the pit lane line was.
Yeah. It didn't compensate for the fact that you were approaching it at high speed. You had to take a narrow line. You had to slow the car down ridiculously as well at turn 9. So, yeah, old Austria was just not fun at all. In terms of other ones, I mean, seen a few people speed into Zandvoort. That's easy enough to do. Same with Silverstone, because they're 60 kilometers an hour, not 80.
I mean, Zandvoort used to be 80, but they changed that because of safety reasons.
Yeah, yes. Good safety reasons. The pit lane is not particularly big at Zandvoort, so kind of need to. Yeah, no, there's a few racetracks that really make you scratch your head and think, why? Why this? And with Spa, it's definitely the pit lane entry. Just one of the worst. Exit's not great either. So.
Yeah. Concerning too, when you go into entry around Spa, the pit entry, there's a little bump when you enter it. Because as soon as you get in, there's like a bit of a bump
that now reminds me, there's a new one on the list, and that's Barcelona.
Oh, because of that bump.
Because of the damn bump, yeah. That thing's awful.
Yeah. No, you gotta be very slow into that now.
Oh, if you do. And you need to make sure you're not too far to the left when you're entering either, because that's where the majority of it is. If you hit it, you can very easily end up in the tyre barrier that separates you and the pit lane wall, so...
Yes.
Alright. Bell now controlling the field. This time in wet weather conditions, needs to be a bit careful. Needs to make sure his tyres are nice and warm as well. In fact, he's taking off. Yes, he's taking off. That didn't take particularly long as we head into the final chicane. He's overshot it by a fair chunk. He has to cut the final corner, and he's been given a whopping 10-second time penalty. Oh, ouch. I suppose that might not be as bad as a 5-second, as Humphries goes down the inside here at turn 1 and barges his way through into 3rd place.
But doesn't have a great run at the exit. Pepsi fights back, and there you go.
Up the hill now through Eau Rouge, and understeer from Pepsi.
Oh, Al! I'm watching the ball with Al. He nearly had a moment there at the top of the hill. And look at the overspeed he's carrying, by the way.
Straight line speed.exe is working quite well for that McLaren. But downforce.exe is working pretty well for Humphries. Round the outside here at turn 7, he maintained. Oh, he almost does a bit of rallycross there, but he holds 4th.
Jesus Christ, that was something. Flares on spicy, there you go. Into turn 8.
Contact, and around goes Pepsi again. He's helped by Big L too. And what do you know, it's at turn 9 once again. Well, be careful, mate. You don't want to get yourself DSQ'd.
Oh, that's after gaining 15 places on the opening laps. No good at all there.
That drops all the way down to 18th. He made the right call, stay out of trouble, and then, bit of contact between himself and Humphries at turn 9. Ultimately results in him dropping down to 18th, effectively last position. Potsy under a little bit of pressure. Humphries right behind. Humphries will gain through Blanchimont. Making his way up towards the bus stop. Yellow's out again. It's Jinbin. Here comes Apollo. Oh, you need to be careful with the ghosting system. It is incredibly unreliable. Humphries closing in on Potsy, looking around the outside here at turn 1. Yellows are out. Sideways, Potsy hits Humphries, who's forced wide into the runoff area. Rejoins behind the Williams. 3/10 behind to be exact. He'll gain time here. Up through Eau Rouge and Radion. Now buried in the slipstream.
Yep. Has the overtake on, but doesn't have a great deal of battery to play with. Does Jack Humphries.
Just needs to keep himself within touching distance. He'll let the downforce do all the talking here through the middle sector.
Oh, ow! Gee whiz, that's so sideways as Arnold gets a penalty. He was sideways again. This time at the cone.
Around the outside here at turn 8. They're making a little bit of contact there. It's tight stuff as we head down into turn 9. Very tight, but eventually Humphries gets in front, and he will pull away through this middle sector.
Yep, and there you go. As proven. Just like that through Buon. He just gained quite a bit of time there.
And there's not much the drivers can do about the sheer speed that Humphries has through this middle sector. And eventually he will take the lead. The question then becomes, will the track dry? Oh, down the inside at Stavilo.
Huh.
That was something.
Yeah, I don't think it's done yet. Here comes Ryan Bell with a whole heap of speed.
Round the outside, heading into Blanchemont. He retakes the lead. Into the bus stop now. Bell pulls it up. Gets it through the chicane. Back onto the main straight.
Does he go for a send at turn 1 there?
Down the inside, it's tight! It's very tight. They're not willing to give each other a lot of room. Bell is hanging on to everything he can.
Don't tell me it goes up. Yeah, there you go. Well, I say to back out, don't go through there in wet weather conditions.
And here comes Potsy.
And here comes Potsy. Straight line speed, .exe comes into play.
And now Humphries has to find the way back by again. CZK having a look, but not committing to a move there at turn 5.
It is slowly bringing them back into this fight, is it? Hello there. Humphries again. To the middle sector. Roscoe gets a penalty. Shoots it down the inside at turn 8. I think he'll get it done. Yes, he does. He's back into second. He should be able to take the race lead.
Oh, this is going to be a big gamble. Yeah, I was going to say, I wouldn't go down the inside at Puon. No way. I'll just let that happen. Bell does all the hard work for him.
Yeah, but guess what? That's going to happen. Bell's going to end up overtaking him again once they get down the straight. Unless
Humphries can build a big enough margin, or Bell can slide about and lose time.
And miss the apex, of course.
Yeah. Bell, he needed to keep the car as straight as he possibly can to try and minimise time loss to Humphries. He kind of did the exact opposite. He's now 1.4 seconds behind, and he will not gain enough back to try and retake the race lead. So Humphries now has the opportunity to try and break away and build up a margin. But something to note as well in regards to Bell's penalty. He should be thankful it isn't 5 seconds, because if it were 5 seconds, you have to serve it when you make a pit stop. You're not given a choice. You will serve it. 10 seconds, on the other hand, you don't. That's just added on post-race. So he could make an argument about it post-race, maybe put in a report and say that the 10-second time penalty is unjust. But he needs to make sure he has a race report and race director and all that kind of stuff to make sure he can get it removed. Need to follow the appropriate protocols.
Of course.
There are the leading 5 drivers. Quintet? 5? Bell with the 3-second time penalty. Yeah. It's building up, but again, he might be able to get that 5-second remove. Oh, wow. That was a big lag spot from Bell. He was moving. Down towards Puon here. Big Al applying pressure. Potsy trying to find a way through. Actually, Potsy's losing time to Bell, so Bell's got composure again. Or at least a little bit. Oh, I say that. He was sideways there.
And misses the apex again.
I'm just going to say he's driving the car. I'll go with that. Seems like I open my mouth, I curse somebody, so... He's driving it, that's for sure. And he's still in the race.
Main thing is he's not driving into a wall. How much as I can curse that one.
Potsy close. Not close enough, though. And look at Humphries, 2.5 seconds now the gap. He's flying off into the distance. No one can challenge him.
And sets the fastest slap, not at all surprised.
Just curious though, will the track go to dry conditions at any point? If it does, then Humphries needs to hope that the lead he's built up is enough to try and hang on. Because we saw in qualifying how much slower he was in those dry conditions. Now Big Al, he's got a run going here. He's going to try and pass Potsy. Round the outside. Doesn't have the straight line speed to try and do it, though. Here we go. Into Lacon. Yeah.
Yeah, can't do much there.
Oh, CZK to the inside! Oh, they made contact. I could hear it through the camera's microphone. Oh, an incident. Is that Roscoe?
Roscoe. Yep, off the road at Lacon.
Ooh, be careful with the rejoin. Careful enough, I guess. It was tight, but they got through it.
Yeah, that's at least.
No, what a wet weather gamble from Humphries to go with that full wet weather setup. It's worked a treat for him so far. Again, sideways. Hit the apex that time though. But he's pushing. In typical Bell style, he's got that loose setup. He's sideways, he's catching slides, he's pushing. But ultimately, when you got a wet weather setup in these kinds of conditions, especially a well-made one, yeah, just pulling away.
Yeah. Just not much you could really do.
Thing is, though, something that helped him build up to this sort of performance. Oh, hello. What's happened to Bags Liddell? Dropped down a couple of positions there. Down to P12. He's now under a bit of pressure here from Ferrari Pro. He's looking around the outside into turn one. A bit difficult to make a move there, so he stays in behind. Although he's got a nice switchback going.
That doesn't have a run.
No. Stays behind. But something that set up Humphries in order for him to get up towards the front is that he kept out of trouble in the sprint. He was able to maximise track position, finishing 10th. He ended up getting a point with a wet weather setup in completely dry conditions. Now, a lot of luck had to play into that. But regardless, he got himself in the right place, he got himself in the right position in order to do that. And now, here in this wet weather race, with a wet weather setup, he's left everyone else standing.
Yeah.
Rather than passing, 14 cars, he's only had to pass 9.
Yeah, he's done that quite well. Yeah, had to be aggressive to do it, but he made it work.
That's right.
In fairness to him.
Kept out of trouble, kept his nose clean, and now he's just running off into the distance.
Yep.
And unless the conditions change, no one is catching him. No one.
No.
It'll be down to Humphries to make a mistake. And I don't think he's going to make a mistake.
Yeah. It'll be down to that or safety cars. Some kind of safety car.
Yeah.
HCW gets by Bar Cam before Blanchemont. But yeah. Amazing we haven't had one so far to start this race compared to what we had the last time.
Yeah.
In the sprint.
Had them all in
Different
the sprint.
story. Yeah.
In the wet though, the guys have behaved themselves well enough. Minus, of course, what happened with T-Mac at turn 15. But, yeah, it's amazing. In these kinds of conditions where you're expecting drama, the drivers actually, you know, drive sensibly. Because they know full well if they're an inch out of line, round they go, and probably into a wall.
Yep, absolutely.
Just thought of something as well with that safety car period we had earlier. It'll give the drivers opportunity to save fuel if they did indeed under fuel. So it shouldn't be as much of an issue. I'm looking through the telemetry. Yellow for contrast briefly. There was yellow for ACW, Baja.
And
that's about it.
That's about it. Yeah. Actually, I lied. I said we had no safety cars in this race. Yeah, I forgot we had one.
Yeah, with T-Mac.
T-Mac's crash. Yep.
The race is entering a slight mellow period. Everyone's got... Oh, I say that.
Apollo Pepsi.
No damage. But yeah, what a shame. What a shame. Put together a decent start to this race. Climbed all the way up to third because of his tyre choice. And yeah, down in 17th. And it's not gotten any better for Apollo. Humphries continues to set fastest laps out there.
Yeah, I feel like Apollo could have had a good race considering where he was, where he started, and where he was at the safety car period. He didn't have that bad of a pace either. He actually had a pretty decent pace. Humphries, 3-second time penalty as he cuts so Ratty on there.
As I said, it'll be down to Jack to make a mistake, and that's one. So you can't afford to get time penalties in a race like this where the chances for a safety car is decently high.
Yeah. It's always down to one person to do it.
I mean, we saw it literally a few minutes earlier with Potsy. So...
Yeah. Yeah. Carmack has a penalty as well. Quite a few penalties racked up, as we can see on this list. Of course, the biggest being Ryan Bell with 13, but of course that 10-second to go was for cutting the bus. Jesus Christ, Ryan Bell. I saw that catch. That ball on. Jesus Christ.
Another one now. Apollo Pepsi, 3 seconds for multiple warnings. People racking them up.
Yeah. They are racking indeed.
Oh, sideways again from Bell. Every time I'm looking at this guy, he's sideways. Here comes Potsy. Look at that! Excuse me?
Yeah, he just scooted on by.
Potsy just said, hello, mate. Hello, mate. Toodles.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that as he overshot the bus stop. Yeah, goes Bell. I'll take that position back then.
Oh, I was thinking Potsy might have a crack down the inside there, but decides to go against it.
That Alpine, just how on earth does he do it? Just
rain stopped.
Sort of yeah, no, that's right. I don't see any raindrops anymore.
The rain has stopped on lap 13 of 22 here at Spa. And there's Big Al. Hello. Oh, and there's Ryan Bell. He's swamped. He's been swamped. He's down to 4th. Al is up to 2nd out of nowhere.
Oh, contact. Hello, Bell.
It's like, oh, Potsy, Bell, they're battling away for P2. Oh, there's Al.
Yeah, sees that guy almost ran to the back of him. There was one, excuse me, ran to the back of him at some point. Well, this will get interesting here.
Absolutely. How long will it take for the track to dry up? This game can be a bit finicky when it comes to... Oh, my word. Again and again. Gee whiz. Driving as if it's Formula Drift out there. Sideways and sideways. So Big Al. An opportunity has arisen here for the McLaren driver. Depending on how quickly the track dries up, there's a real chance for a race win. Especially now considering Humphrey's got that 3-second time penalty. Track is obviously still damp though.
Yeah, you can see the spray coming off the car's tires. Humphrey's still saying quicker lap.
Potsy's in.
Coming into it. Potsy's in. Bell and CZK. Why not do a drift at the pit line there, right, Bell?
I mean, he's done a drift everywhere else at this point.
I know.
Mediums, I see. More mediums. More mediums. Everybody want mediums. Softs. Never mind.
That DRS is enabled. There you go.
This lap may prove to be insanely critical for the context of this race.
Yeah. I think Potsy, well, he's going to be in a good spot if the conditions start to dry up more, because you want the tire with the most mechanical grip, which is the softs, for these sort of conditions.
Absolutely, but you're now 9 laps. Nah, yeah, maybe. It'll be a bit iffy towards the end. Oh, you're a bit sideways too at turn 5. Had the lock stops on, but he got it pulled up, he got it turned. Oh, Bell's still sideways.
He just loves drifting that car.
3.7 seconds, is it shrinking? It is shrinking. 3.4, 3.3. So there's definitely a change over the slick tyres now. But look at the track. There's still moisture everywhere.
Yeah, it still looks damp. It's still a bit shiny in places.
If you told me, oh yeah, do you want to try slicks, mate? I'm going, no! Oh no, mate. There's still moisture everywhere.
He's caught up to some of the inter-runners. Jack is coming in. That's not a surprise.
Oh, brush with the wall there.
Al comes in. Yeah, a bit of a brush.
Yeah, all of these drivers must come in. There isn't a choice in this, they're coming in.
Humphreys is on the medium compound tire. Al, it looks like to be the soft tire for the McLaren.
Here we go. So Humphreys should take the lead here, and will take the lead. Al, though, I don't believe will stay in second. There's a traction for Potsy.
Yep, and there you go. There's the run. But Al's got DRS, I think. Will he?
Yes.
Yeah, he should. There you go.
We'll gain time here down the Camel. Roscoe sets a new fastest lap on the medium compound tyre. We head towards Lacombe. The gap shrinks down to 4 seconds. Apollo sets a new fastest lap. The times are tumbling. The cars are getting quicker. And the gap is shrinking between P1 and 2. It's down to 4.1. So Humphreys, he's got that wet weather setup, plus less grippy compound. He needs to hope those soft tyres burn out real quick.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he's going to be quick though through the middle sector, as we've seen.
Yes.
But yeah, the straights, yeah, he's going to be in a bit of trouble.
Yellow's out, Arnold's
Jordan out! Safety car has been deployed because of that.
Well, throw another spanner into the works.
Yeah. At Lacombe, he's crashed it. Exited it, I should add.
Alright, bunch the field up again. This is the worst case scenario for the medium runners.
Yes. It's great for if you're a soft runner.
Al's been given a drive-through! Oh no! He wasn't paying attention to the delta. He's been given a drive-through. Pepsi with a time penalty. He hasn't kept it within track limits. But Al's race. Dunzo. Potsy's back in. Drivers are coming back in. They want new tyres. Oh, because why not?
Oh, I get it. Yeah, fair enough. Oh, Al's got himself a 5 second for speeding. Ouch.
And he won't serve that here either.
Nope. He's got a drive-through penalty to serve and the 5 seconds to deal with.
I'm surprised. A few people sticking with the mediums here. They want that track position. See if it works out. Potsy out in 4th, Al 5th, Bell 6th. Followed by ACW. Contrast has stayed out. He moves up to 8th. Cam up to 9th. Plevy gets in front of Ferrari Pro. Oh, change in position. What's going on here?
Bell and Big Al? Why are they doing that?
Now they're slowing down. Hopefully that hasn't broken anything.
Yeah. I guess Bell got a legal overtake. Gave the position back.
How about that? Drive-through penalty for Big Al. That Delta, man, it's brutal.
Yeah. You gotta keep your eyes on it. It's stupid. It's a stupid thing ever because it's so broken. But yeah, you gotta keep your eyes on it.
Yeah, quite a few takers to pit lane as well, KD. A lot of people, like those towards the back, I get it. But we had those towards the front on softs pitting again for new rubber.
Yeah, which is very interesting. I don't know if they're new softs or if they're old.
Yeah, it could be after qualifying, so.
Yeah, but good. But yeah, Humphreys though is in a pretty big pickle here with that setup, and yeah, the penalty he's got.
We'll see what he can do. The track is continuously getting driver, which means his advantage in the middle sector is getting less and less.
Absolutely.
So he will still gain time because of that extra downforce. He won't be gaining anywhere near as much. But this was the gamble he took. And luckily this safety car has balked him somewhat. Because the conditions were still tricky. It's not as tricky as they once were. So, yeah. He's got a bit of work to do to try and hang on to this race lead. CZK's got a lot of straight line speed. Haven't spoken too much about Sebastian here. But he now has an opportunity to potentially finish on the podium if he can hang on to the track position he's got. But frankly, I don't think he can. Those softs are going to be so quick.
Yeah, we're gonna see Potsy, Big Al, and Bell sending here.
Yeah.
Keep your eyes on ACW as well, since he is also another driver on the softs.
And no time penalty either.
And no time penalties.
So there's a chance, potential chance for a podium if he plays his cards right. Of course, there's a Spa. Anything can happen.
And also Al has to serve that drive through as well.
That's right, so that's one less person to worry about. A shame, really. He looked to be in a really strong position to try and win this race, and I'm afraid he's thrown it. You know, we all have to manage to the same delta. It's a rubbish delta. It always has been with F1 games. Particularly with F1 23 though, I've noticed it's been incredibly shocking. But at the end of the day, we all have to manage to it. It's down to us to manage it. And ultimately, Al didn't do that. That's just the reality of it. So he'll be dropping down to 17th after the safety car comes in. So.
Yep. Which will probably be this upcoming lap. Shortly. The end of this lap shortly.
Just a note as well, top three are on mediums. Contrast and Cam, they're on mediums. Liddell on mediums. So we have 6 of them on the medium compound. Everyone else is on the soft tyre. This is it. The business end of the Belgian Grand Prix. Get rid of this graphic at least for a bit. Concentrate on the leaders. Jack Humphreys. Incredibly quick in the wet. Potentially vulnerable here in the dry with his wet weather setup. He has to give it everything to try and hang on to the track position he's got. Playing it nice and patient for the moment. Waiting for his moment to take off. CZK right on his gearbox. We're heading up towards the bus stop. There he goes. Switches on the battery as well. We head towards the chicane. Through 18. Through 19. And back on to the main straightaway. Cam gets a 3-second time penalty. We now have 5 laps to go here at Spa. And already Humphries with a 7/10 margin. But how much will that shrink on this long flat out section down towards Eau Rouge and Radion? Closes in by about a 10th or so. Switching on that overtake too. He's used a fair chunk of it. CZK. Look at him go. He's now in the draft. Pulls out of it to the inside.
And nothing Humphries can do.
New race leader, CZK in the Alfa Romeo. Humphries down to second. Potsy in third.
Great run. He's got a great run towards 8. He's going to send it in and back into the lead. Goes Jack Humphries.
I said he needs to give it everything. Bell getting in front of Spicer. The AlphaTauri dropping down to 5th position. This is where Humphries needs to pull away. He knows as well the soft runners are coming. And they're coming with some speed. Through turns 12 and 13. Potsy will close in on the superior soft compound tyre. Around Stavilo, turns 14 and 15. The gap increases to 1 second between Humphries and CZK. Dumping a fair chunk of battery. Here we go. Simple move here. The straight line speed advantage that Potsy has. Moves through into second position.
Jack's used up all of his deployment. He's going to be quite vulnerable in this section.
Potsy half covering there to CZK. Making sure the Alfa Romeo doesn't dive bomb down the inside. The gap sits at a little over half a second. Drivers setting new fastest laps. The times are indeed tumbling. Bell to the inside, bombs it in and takes P3. Big Al still out on track. He will have to serve that drive through at some point. Delaying it as long as he possibly can. Maybe hoping for another safety car. Down the camel we go. There's little Humphries can do about this. Potsy takes the lead. Humphries down to second, now down to third. As Bell moves through into P2. Through Lacon. Using all of the curb that is available to you. Down the hill. A bit loose there from Bell. Humphries has a look down the inside. Sending it in there wheel to wheel. As they exit the right-hander. Heading down towards No Name. Humphries has a moment. He's still trying to keep the fight alive. As he's almost in the barrier.
Whew. He was really squeezed into the barriers there. Bell's got no battery as well to play with. Incident is Bar Cam off the road a little bit. I think a No Name.
So, Humphries tried to fight, tried to hang on. Bell did not make it easy. Did not make it easy at all. Humphries now down in third place. Now has CZK right behind. Big Al in 5th. Like I said, he'll have to serve that drive-through. But this should be Potsy's race to win from this point. There's very little that the guys behind can do. Through the bus stop. Onto the main straight. Al pits in. DRS is now enabled. For the final 3 laps of this Grand Prix. Al, he'll try and fight this. He will try and get those penalties removed if he can. As Baja retires in the pits, he's had enough for the day. Up the hill towards Lacombe. Bell will take the lead. CZK will move into third position. ACW moves up to 5th. Spicer down to P6. Potential podium on the cards for ACW. CZK gets a 3-second time penalty. He and Humphries are now even game. It's on between these two.
That happened under the exit of 7. Humphries has the advantage. Well, he had the advantage, I was going to say, through this middle section. Can't find a way by, though. Just has to stay behind for now.
Here we go towards turns 12 and 13. Doesn't have enough momentum to really try and do anything. It's got so much speed though, but nowhere to go. Round turn 14. Oh, he gets close. I think they might have touched. He got that close. Humphrey stuck in 4th place, and CZK should be able to hang on here. The extra straight line speed.
Absolutely. Nothing much he can do. ACW is also going to close in this battle shortly.
Yes, he is, and he's on that soft tyre. He's looking pretty good right now.
He is indeed. Spicy isn't far away. We'll keep our eyes on him. See what he does.
As a turn 1 and down the hill towards Eau Rouge and Radion. 3/10 is the gap between Bell and Popsy. The Williams driver should find a way through pretty easily here on the Camel Straight. Flashing red light on the back of Bell's car. He's low on battery. He has no slipstream and no DRS to help him out. Popsy moves through with relative ease and retakes the race lead. Meanwhile, Spice is trying to get involved in this battle here. There's a potential podium on the cards for both Seb and ACW. So they're going to duel it out with everything they've got. It's going to be a real mix-up trying to work out who finishes on the podium here at Spa. The winner seems pretty obvious at this point. Of course, we just have to wait and see. Bags Liddell moves past Ferrari Pro. Ferrari Pro looking down the inside here of Apollo Pepsi, trying to hang on to P11. Doesn't do so. Apollo moves through. Big Al, another time penalty, down in 16th place. Now has 8 seconds next to his name. Yeah, he'll be finishing in 16th at this point. So he will not finish in the top 15. He will not finish in the points unless something happens. Now, Humphreys 2/10 behind CZK. ACW's dropped a little bit. He needs to get within DRS range. Otherwise, he's going to be vulnerable to Spicer as we head through the bus stop for the second last time. The leaders begin the final lap. Lap 22 of 22 here at Spa. ACW does indeed have DRS, but he is low on battery. Very low. Through La Source, turn 1. Seb will get DRS, but will ACW? He's spending whatever he has left. I don't think he will.
I think he's going to be vulnerable to Spicy down the Camel Straight.
Here we go then. Sebastian's closing in. So is Bell. Bell takes the lead back, but ultimately it's for nothing. Here comes Spicer to the inside, and ACW can do nothing. Spicer moves into 5th position. That could be P3. You don't know. Down the inside goes Humphreys on CZK. That's rough.
Yeah, that's quite rough indeed.
Oh, and a wiggle there from the Malaysian. Somehow keeps it out of the barrier. As we go through Puon for the final time. High Contrast is closing in as well on this little 3-car train. Blake Stevenson, a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. And what a fascinating conclusion this has been to this Belgian Grand Prix. So many ups, so many downs, so many twists and turns, but ultimately there can only be one winner. Bell currently leading, trying to hang on, but Potsy's looking around the outside here. Here we go, side by side, they make a little bit of contact. Bell wants to try and hang on, and he will, but ultimately he will not keep it. It'll be Potsy who wins the Belgian Grand Prix. P2 to Sebastian Spicer, and ACW will finish on the podium in 3rd. By contrast, P4 followed by CZK, then Jack Humphreys. We'll run through the rest of the order in a few moments' time. And then what a journey that was. So much drama and so much action. Driver of the day, Sebastian Spicer, fair enough for finishing on the podium. What a bad effort that was. But with how the how the circumstances played out, there was really only one winner by the end of that race. There was only one guy who could realistically win the event, and that was indeed Potsy. A fine performance from him, standing on the top step of the podium. P2 to Spicer, P3 to ACW. Reserve drive for him. He'd be pretty happy with a podium finish, I'd imagine. The unofficial results then of the Belgian Grand Prix. Potsy is your race winner. Sebastian Spicer home in second. ACW completing the podium places in third. Closely followed behind him is High Contrast, followed by CZK. Jack Humphreys P6, then Matt Plevy. Ryan Bell with fastest lap finishes 8th. Bags Liddell P9. Jimbin rounds out the top 10. Then we have Roscoe Arm. Apollo Pepsi finishes 12th. Blake Stevenson 13th. Then we have Carmen 14th. Ferrari Pro, our final point scorer, in 15th position, followed by Big Al. A shame, he had a real chance of winning this race. Finishes outside of the points. Retirements, Cam, Arnold and T-Mac from this event. These two retirements in particular causing the game-changing safety cars to completely change the complexion of the race. There we are. Not a bad little event. We'll be able to get ACW in for a chat. Oh, but man, that wasn't too bad.
Not so much. I mean, hey, got drama, at least. 2 safety cars and 2 races as well. Size, but yeah. No, it's quite interesting.
See if I can't get him in. Oh. Come on, PlayStation, stop messing with me. There we go. Hopefully that worked. Yeah, not bad at all. Sometimes here at Spa it can get particularly boring, but with the mixed weather conditions, the drama that we saw in both the sprint and the main race, it was a proper old mix-up here at Spa.
I would agree with that.
Hello, hello.
Hello, ACW. How are you?
Hey, ACW.
Not bad.
That's good to hear, mate. Welcome back, by the way.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. But no, you performed quite well today, mate. You happy with your P3?
Pretty good. Not so bad.
Sorry, mate. I was just checking if the audio was working. But
It's all good.
yeah, you were a bit sad with how quick some of the drivers were. I noticed. Chat. But no, I imagine with a solid drive like that, you'd be pretty pleased. But first of all, qualifying. How was that for you here at Spa?
Actually, only a 10th off my PB. 2 tenths or 1 tenth.
Oh, right.
So it wasn't. And I put extra downforce, so pretty good, I reckon.
Fair enough. I was going to say, did you run with a sort of hybrid style setup, knowing that the race was going to be wet? I
just
kind of
put
answered
a
that.
couple clicks up. That's it. Not that bad.
Fair enough. I mean, that's what most people usually do. They don't really run with full wet. If they know it's mixed conditions, they tend to run dry and just sort of deal with it in the wet.
Yeah.
But, yeah, fair enough then. The qualifying went well, especially with a slightly altered setup to get as close as you did to your PB. So that's really solid. But sprint race, well, there wasn't a lot of driving per se. It was just sort of sticking behind the safety car for the most part. But all in all, you kept out of trouble. Got a top 10 if I recall correctly.
It was P4, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not bad at all. Not bad.
Not bad.
Shows you what keeping out of trouble does, I suppose.
Yeah.
But main race time, how was it adjusting from the dry conditions in both qualifying and in the sprint to the wet conditions.
That was horrible. It's only my second league race on this game.
Oh, Jesus. Well, the game's decided, you know what? We'll throw you in the deep end, eh? Wet weather at Spa.
I haven't touched wet weather in this game yet, so...
Well, there you go, first experience.
Yeah,
I mean, hell, you don't even have frickin' time trial for wet weather setups anyway, so...
Yeah. I spun on lap 2 and caused the safety car.
Yeah, so what happened with you and T-Mac?
I spun, and then on my screen I ghosted, but on his screen he hit my car, and he got damaged, and died. Whilst my car was all good.
Yeah, of course. That's how the contact model works.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's so authentically, like, realistically, you know.
And then like a couple seconds later at the bus stop I locked the rears and I got tapped from someone. I lost a few more positions.
Yeah, right. So a few incidents here and there then.
Just a few.
So it wasn't a completely, you know, clean race, trouble-free race.
Very scuffed.
Very scuffed. Well, you ended up putting yourself in a pretty decent position, keeping yourself penalty-free and putting yourself on soft tyres as well. Was that an immediate go-to? Just as soon as the weather dried up, get on the soft tyre?
Prior to the race I was planning to do medium softs, so I kept a fresh set of softs.
Yep.
So yeah, and then, yeah, if you have fresh softs in changing conditions, obviously go softs.
Yeah, fair enough, man. Fair enough. But no, again, you kept yourself nice and clean. Had a neat little ding-dong battle between yourself and Seb at the end of that one. Unfortunately, you just didn't have quite enough juice to give yourself DRS on that last lap.
I had a shocking turn 1, so I couldn't get in the 1 second of Jack. Did.
Yeah, and ultimately Seb, yeah, with the help of DRS, got through and ended up getting second, his best result of the season. But considering then, ACW, with your lack of experience with this game, that's actually a pretty solid performance. Finished P3. I mean, granted, it took a bit of help getting there, but ultimately you kept out of trouble. And, well, kept enough out of trouble anyway. And got on the podium. So, not a bad effort, that one. Not bad at all.
Not bad.
KD, have you got anything to ask ACW?
No. Nothing more. I think you guys just pointed it all out, but congratulations on your P3 ACW. Yeah,
Thank you.
done.
Will you be reserving any more times throughout this season?
Maybe after November, I'm planning.
Fair enough, man. Well, hopefully you get to join us again. It's nice to have your company. The more fast drivers, the merrier. And you're definitely a very fast driver, ACW. Well, at least a lot faster than me. So, but no, congratulations, mate, on your P3 finish. Well done.
Thank you, Lane. Thank you, Katie.
That's quick shout out as well. Congrats, Seb. Welcome back to the podium. He does this every so often, Seb. Bit weird that seeing your name in full on that screen rather than spicy salami. That is a bit different to get used to. But no, congratulations on your P2 finish. Mega effort that was. And also to our race winner, Potsu. Yeah. Ultimately, at the end of the race, with how everything played out, you were the only guy winning that thing. So, Bell gave it everything he could, but ultimately it was for nothing with the time penalties that he had. And ultimately, I feel like the only one who would be able to get removed is that 10 second, unless something happened during that race to get a track limits warning. That's unjust or something. So, yeah, mega effort today. Congratulations with the race win. But I think, KD, they'll wrap just about everything. Oh, not a bad way to return from a break, eh? Not bad.
Yeah, I suppose so. Not a bad race weekend overall.
I agree. Thank you very much again for your company, KD. I very much appreciate it. And I think, folks, with everything said and done, it's now time for us to end the stream. I've been Lane Everingham. My co-commentator, as always, is KD1997. Thank you, everyone, so much for watching, and we'll see you next week for round 5 of the championship at the Marina Bay Street Circuit for the Singapore Grand Prix. Yeah, next week's going to be a doozy. Till then, it's goodbye.